Hey everybody, what's good? What's going on? JB here, back with another CyberInsight live stream. Today we're going back to TryHackMe, and we're going to be doing a room that I've actually had a whole bunch of folks request to have a walkthrough done on, and that is the Juice Shop, which covers the OWASP top 10. So it's kind of a room where we're going to be looking at some web app penetration testing. So it's definitely something where you're going to want to go and check out the Burp Suite fundamentals room that I did a while ago, and probably the web fundamentals room as well, to give you a little bit of a foundation before hopping into this. But a lot of people have asked about doing this, so I figured why not, throw up the room and try walking my way through it. I haven't done this one before, so we'll kind of just see how it goes. So before we move over into the browser, as always, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, all that other good stuff. And if you have any questions, then go ahead and throw those in the comment section as well. So appreciate you guys dropping in, and we will hop over into this. So let's see where we are at. So this room, OWASP Juice Shop. So we're going to be looking at a vulnerable web application, learn how to identify and exploit different common web application vulnerabilities. This is one where we're going to be using the attack box, and then also we're going to need to spin up the machine itself that is hosting the web app that we're going to be looking at. So want to make sure that you go ahead and do that, hit the green button here, and then hit the attack box, which would be up here if you aren't using your own Kali box or something else to VPN into the TryHackMe environment. So let's see. Task 1, open for business. With this room, we will look at the OWASP's top 10 vulnerabilities in web applications. You'll find these in all different types of web applications, but for today, we'll be looking at OWASP's own creation, Juice Shop. So they mention here that they have some free rooms that you should check out first before doing this. So as I mentioned, we already have video walkthroughs of the Burp Suite basics and the web fundamentals. So go check those out if you want to before hopping into this. Juice Shop is a large application, so we will not be covering every topic from the top 10. So if you aren't familiar with the OWASP top 10, just like real quick, it's a standard for developers and web application security professionals, and it represents kind of the top 10 most critical security risks to web applications. I think they come out with a new version, I think it's every 2 years or so. And you kind of just see here a whole bunch of different things that they identify as potential issues. So broken access control, cryptographic failures, different types of injection. So talk about like SQL injection, things like that, insecure design, security misconfigurations. A lot of times that could be correlated with, maybe not having the right type of security hardenings put in place. A lot of times developers maybe will just be going with what the easier solution is when it comes to building stuff out. And sometimes, at least in my mind, the security misconfigurations kind of overlays a bit with the vulnerable and outdated components. So that would be, not actually patching your stuff. So those two kind of, in my mind, can have some ways that they kind of work together in not a great way. Identification, authentication failures, software data integrity failures, security logging and monitoring failures. So in that case, if you aren't actually enabling logging on the applications that you're developing, or maybe aren't logging the proper things, and then server-side request forgery. We're not really going to go too deep into those specific things. If you remember, we did actually cover a few of those in the advent of cyber this year. There were few rooms that actually covered a bunch of those topics. So what are we actually going to be looking at in the room today? So we're going to be looking at injection stuff, broken authentication, sensitive data exposure, broken access control, and some cross-site scripting or XSS. So they say, please note, task 3 and onward will require a flag, which will be displayed on completion of the task. So you kind of do whatever you need to do, and then there's a flag, and then we'll drop it down here to close out those sections. So troubleshooting, the web app takes about 2 to 5 minutes to load, so be patient. Well, I've already spun it up, so we're good with that. Temporarily disable burp in your proxy settings for the current browser, refresh the page, and the flag will be shown. This is not an issue with the application, but issue with burp stopping the flag from being shown. Okay, interesting. We'll see if we run into that. If you're doing the cross-site scripting tasks and they're not working, clear your cookies and site data, as this can sometimes be an issue. If you are sure that you have completed the task but still not working, go to task 8, as this will allow you to check its completion. So we'll kind of see how this all goes. Hopefully it will be pretty smooth, but never know. All right, so we have deployed the VM that's attached. And once the machine is loaded, we're going to take the IP address here and we can move it over into here and open up the web browser. Let's see. So we're using Firefox, and we see over here that Foxy Proxy is disabled, so it's not actually going to burp at the moment. So that's good. Let's see what we got. All right, so we got a little website here. This website uses fruit cookies to ensure you get the juiciest tracking experience. Well, I'm sure that there's some other stuff we'll see in here as we flip through here. I just want to make sure that we can see everything on the stream. I think you can. If you can't, we can always remove that, but I think we're good at the moment. So I'll throw that overlay back up and we'll move through stuff. So let's see what we're going to do first here. So task 2, let's go on an adventure. So before we get into the actual hacking part, it's good to have a look around. In Burp, set the intercept mode to off and then browse around the site. This allows Burp to log different requests from the server, which may be helpful later. So this is called walking through an application, which is also a form of reconnaissance. So let's go ahead and turn that on going to Burp, and we can open Burp up. Let's see. Burp Suite Community Edition. We'll see how long this takes to load. Hopefully not too bad. And we're just going to go temporary project, use Burp default, start Burp. We're not going to do update because that's going to take a bit of time. So they were saying to set the intercept mode to off and then browse around the website. So we go under proxy, intercept is on, intercept is off. Okay, let's see. So let's just kind of move around and see what we got going on here. Oh, didn't mean to open that one back up. Let's we'll just refresh this one. And customer feedback. if we just type something in here, can we type? Test, CAPTCHA. So 6 times 9 is 54. So that is negative 54 and 4, negative 50. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. About us. Just a lorem ipsum and a whole bunch of links down at the bottom here going different places. Login page. Test. And user registration. Okay. Choose language. If we go back to the main page, then we have all these different products. Admin at Juice Shop. It looks like they're writing their own reviews. Fantastic. All right. Some more fruit. More reviews. Cool. And just a whole bunch more items for sale here. Okay. So let's take a look. Let's see what we got going on. Yep, and we were able to capture a whole bunch of stuff going through here. Okay, cool. So let's see what they wanted us to do. What is the administrator's email address? The reviews show each user's email address, which by clicking on the apple juice product showed us the admin email. So we actually saw that. That was the first one that we looked at there. Let's go back to the main. The main page and all the way up at the top, I believe. And under reviews, and it was admin at Juice Shop. Let's copy that, move that over. Cool. What parameters is used for searching? Click on the magnifying glass in the top right of the application and the search bar will pop up. Yep. We can input some text and press enter. And by pressing enter, we'll search for the text was just inputted. Now pay attention to the URL, which will now update with the search text we just entered. That might not be good. We can now see the search parameter after the pound search question mark. So what's the question? We can now, what parameter is used for searching? We're talking Q. Yep. Okay. So if we were to do that, let's go I don't know, soda, right? And then we can see that that's what that did there. Okay. Question 3. What show does Jim reference in his review? Jim did a review on the green smoothie, and we can see he mentions a replicator. If we Google replicator, well, you know that's with Star Trek. Yeah, okay. So I think they're just kind of having us go through here to just get kind of familiar with the layout of the website. Okay. Let's move on to task 3. Inject the juice. This task will be focusing on injection vulnerabilities. Injection vulnerabilities are quite dangerous to a company as they can potentially cause downtime or loss of data. Identifying injection points within a web application is usually quite simple, as most of them will return an error. There are many different types of injection attacks, and here are some below. So we have a SQL injection. SQL injection is when an attacker enters a malicious or malformed query to either retrieve or tamper data from a database. In some cases, be able to log into an account. Command injection is when web applications take input or user control data and run them as system commands. So an attacker may tamper with this data to execute their own system commands. This can be seen in applications that perform misconfigured ping tests. An email injection is a security vulnerability that allows malicious users to send email without prior authorization by the email server. This occurs when an attacker adds extra data fields which are not interpreted by the server correctly. Okay, log into the administrator account. After we navigate to login page, enter some data into the email and password fields. Before clicking submit, we're going to end up turning intercept back on. All right. We will now change the A next to the email to either a apostrophe or a 1 = 1 -- Okay, so let's go do that. Let's get intercept. We're going to turn it back on. Do this, count, login. Okay, and then it was admin, and then what we were going to type in here, we were going to some data into the email and password fields before clicking submit. Make sure intercept is on, and then we see what's being sent. So just type A, hit log on. That's not going to go until we actually allow it with Burp Suite. And let's find the one. There we go. Okay, so this is the one going for the email. And then we were going to modify that to, I think they said 1. Or no, we were going to change the A next to email to, we'll just go apostrophe. Let's see. So that did not work. Oh, I changed it on the wrong area. My bad. I put it on with a password, but I meant to do it here. All right. I completely misread that. Let's do this. There we go. Okay. Let's try that again. Hit log on. Take two. There we go. Okay. And then it was the email. We're going to swap this out. There we go. That looks a little bit better. And forward. Let's see what we got. And there we go. We are logged in. Interesting. But it doesn't say which account we're logged in with, though. But, all right, let's see what they say. So why does this work? The character apostrophe will close the brackets in the SQL query. 2, the or in an SQL statement will return true if either side of it is true, as 1 equals 1, which is always true. The whole statement is true. Thus, if we tell the server that the email is valid and log us into user ID 0, which happens to be the administrator's account, the -- character is used in SQL to comment out data. Any restrictions on login will no longer work as they are interpreted as comment. This is like the pound or // comment in Python and JavaScript, respectively. So then, what do we have to turn off? I think this is what they're talking about. Turn off Burp Suite and refresh, or turn off Foxy Proxy and refresh. There we go. Okay, our first flag. Not too bad. So a little SQL injection to start it off to go with. Not too bad. All right. Similar to what we did in question 1, we'll log into Bender's account, capture the login request again, but this time we will put Bender's email as the email. Oh, we're going to take Bender's email as the email. Yep. Now forward it to the server. But why didn't we put the 1 equals 1? Well, as the email address is valid, which will return true, we do not need to force it to be true. Thus, we are able to use just the -- to bypass the login system. Know that the 1 equals 1 can be used when the email or username is not known or valid. Okay, so let's see how this works. Let's see where Bender left his comment. I guess we don't need to know that because we just know what his email is, but okay. So Bender at Juice Shop. Do that again. Okay. We're going to log out. Account. I'm going to log back in. It's going to be Bender at Juice. OP me just copy that there. Oh, let's see. That will just be easier. We'll just do this. All right, that's the email. And then A, and then before we hit send, we're going to turn Foxy Proxy back on to send it to Burp. Hit login. I don't even know that we really needed to turn that back on, but we'll do it anyway. That way we can kind of see. Kind of get through all these. And here we go. This is the one for that. There we go. We're able to successfully log in with vendor's account. Okay, I'm going to copy that flag. So we were able to do it that time. Let's copy this. Let's get that copied over. No, come on. I don't know why that does not. Like that. And go like that. There we go. Okay. So with that one, we didn't have to use the 1 equals 1 because we already knew what the email was, but we did do the apostrophe at the end of that and then the hyphen. Cool. All right, who broke my lock? Task 4. In this task, we'll be looking at exploiting the authentication through different flaws. When we talk about flaws within authentication, we include mechanisms that are vulnerable to manipulation. These mechanisms listed below are what we will be exploiting. Weak passwords in highly privileged accounts, forgotten password pages, and if we want some more information on broken authentication, then they have a link here for that. Okay. We're going to brute force the administrator's account password. We have used SQL injection to log into the administrator account, but we still don't know the password. Let's try a brute force attack. We'll once again capture a login request, but instead of sending it through the proxy, we will send it to Intruder. Go to positions and then select the clear. I don't know what that is, but that's what we're going to select. In the password field, place 2 of those inside the quotes. To clarify, this is not 2 separate inputs, but rather Burp's implementation of quotations. This request should look like the image below. For the payload, we'll be using the best 1050 text from seclists, which can be installed via the apt-get install seclists. But I think that that should already be there on this attack box. So once the file is loaded into Burp, start the attack. You'll want to filter for any requests by status. A failed request will receive a 401, a successful will be 200. Okay, so we are going to make sure that Burp Suite is turned on with a proxy. Or I should say that we're capturing the traffic, but then sending it to Intruder. Okay. So let's go like this. Let's do this. So we want to go Burp Suite community. Intercept is on. And we can just forward the rest of these, get rid of all this. Okay. Intercept is on. And then I think once we have that particular packet, we're going to send the packet. It's going to come here. And then I think we right click on it and then send it to Intruder, if I remember correctly. So let's see how that goes. So let's get that admin password. Okay, let's bring that over here. Okay, and then we're going to go back and try and log in. Let's get out of this, log out, count. Let's get rid of these. Okay, count, log in, do that, paste that in there. We'll just put that there. We're going to turn Proxy back on. We're going to send that. And then we're going to go back to Burp. For that. Here we go. Now here, we're going to send it to Intruder. And then let's see what we were going to modify here with an Intruder. Under positions, the attack is sniper. We already have those weird symbols that I don't know what they are called there. So go to positions, then select the clear. We're going to clear that. Okay, and then we were just going to put 2 in here. So we have this clear button over here. We have an add button. We can put those in. I think we're going to do 2 of those. That looks right. Okay, and then for the payload of the file that's going to be using, so the payload is going to have just like probably a word list or password list. And we're going to pick which one. I have here, so it's going to be user share, seclist. Let's see, seclists. And then based off of this, whichever password file we end up having here, then Burp is just going to cycle through trying to log in with all of those passwords. Let's see. If it's not here yet, then we can go and download that like they were saying. Apt-get install seclist. All one word. I don't know if that like that. We'll see. User share. Yeah, I am not seeing that there. Let me do a little bit of research real quick, and then we'll hop back on here. All right, so poking around a little bit here, I just kind of went under root, and then since that's what we're doing, went to tools, and then saw under there's a file for word lists, and clicked into that, and then saw a sec list was there. So we're just kind of going with so sec lists, then it's passwords, common credentials, best 1050. Okay. Once a file, you can start the attack. You want to filter based off of request by status. So and then we have this button over here for start the attack. And we're just going to let it kind of go through and do its thing. There is, what, about 1,000 passwords in here. So we're going to filter on status. Remember, we're looking for 200. Meaning that it was successful. So we can kind of just let it do its thing. And I'll just kind of pause the stream for a little bit while it does that, and then turn it back on once we get a status 200. All right, so we are back at this point, and we actually did end up coming up with a password that came back with a 200 status for success. So the password that was used was admin123. See, that ended up being request 117. I want to say I probably sat here for, I don't know, maybe about 10 minutes or so for it to get to that point. So just be aware of that as you're kind of moving through this stuff. If you were using Burp Suite on your own computer and not the Community Edition, the actual Burp Suite Pro, then it would be moving through that quite a bit faster. So, all right, so we have that. We can go ahead and get rid of this. Okay. And we can go back to here, and we see that we did get our flag for this, but we should also be able to log in with that. Admin123. And there we go. We are in as the admin there. Cool. So let's go ahead and copy that flag over. Let's see, where were we? Right here. There we go. Okay. Question number 2, reset Jim's password. Believe it or not, the reset password mechanism can also be exploited. When input into the email field in the forgot passwords page, Jim's security question is set to your eldest sibling's middle name. Task 2, we found that Jim might have something to do with Star Trek. Googling Jim in Star Trek gives us a wiki page for James T. Kirk from Star Trek. Okay, so we have Captain Kirk is working at the juice shop. Makes sense. All right. So if we were to go through there, we'd be able to find some information on his family and see that your eldest sibling's middle name in this case was Samuel. So it looks like his brother's middle name is Samuel. We input that into the forgot password page, allows us to successfully change his password. You can change it to anything else. So I think the point with this, obviously, is not that Captain Kirk is working at the juice shop, but depending upon the security question that you have set up for resetting the password for accounts and different things, whether it's your bank or other types of web applications, if the question is really obvious and you're able to do some good OSINT work via Google and other things like that, so like your mother's maiden name or something along those lines, then that could get you into some trouble, and that kind of would be a way of exploiting some weak credentials, I would say. So let's go get the flag on this. The Jim at Juice Shop is what we were looking for. So let's log out here. Get rid of that. Close that out. Count, login, at juice.op. And then we forgot the password. You have to provide something. Let's see. Login. Forget password. Jim at juice. Security question. Samuel. And we can make it whatever we want, but we'll just say Jim. Oh no, we'll go juice. Let's see, maybe I spelled Samuel wrong. Juice. There we go. Password was successfully changed, which means we should be able to log in as Jim. So yeah, either don't use the questions that are really obvious and that you can go and do some research on the internet to find the answers for, or in your mind know that you make up a completely random answer for common questions and you know that that's what you stick with, you know. So if you're, you know, I don't know, your mother's maiden name, maybe it's actually what your favorite pet is. I don't know. Come up with something different. Although multi-factor authentication is definitely better than some of these password security question stuff. It's kind of iffy. Okay, so let's take that. Should be able to go back, drop this here. Keep it moving. All right, task 5. Don't look. So we already actually saw this about us when we were flipping through the website, the lorem ipsum kind of default stuff that you need to actually swap out with some stuff that actually means something. But it looks like maybe they hid something that means something within that. Web applications should store and transmit sensitive data safely and securely. But in some cases, the developer may not correctly protect their sensitive data, making it vulnerable. Most of the time, data protection is not applied consistently across web applications, making certain pages accessible to the public. Other times, information is leaked to the public without the knowledge of the developer, making the web application vulnerable to attack. So if you want some more information on sensitive data exposure, there you go. So what are we going to do? Access a confidential document. So we're going to go to the About Us page and go check out our terms of use. And you will see that ends up giving us this IP address. And navigating to that FTP directory reveals that it is exposed to the public. Oh no. Not good, not good. So let's go and do that. So about us. Make sure Foxy Proxy is turned off. About us. Let's get rid of that flag up there. Okay, and then so we have this here. You really can't see that at the moment because of that overlay, so let me remove that for a second. Still don't know that you can really see it. Let's see. Well, in the bottom left-hand corner, there's going to be a little thing that's going to pop up with the IP address, and you're going to see it's FTP and legal. We're going to click on there. We're going to go there. So I think we're going to save that. Let's actually just go to that directory instead. So let's go here. And this is so this is actually the file that we downloaded. But that's not going to be necessarily as much interest to us. So let's go open in new tab. But I don't want to, let's just see, what is it? So it's FTP. So we'll just go /FTP. And there we go. There is the directory for FTP and has a whole bunch of stuff in here. Could be some important things. Announcement, encrypted, yeah. Acquisitions. This document is confidential. Do not distribute. Our company plans to acquire several competitors within the next year. This will have significant. I mean, that's some important stuff. Could get you in trouble. Shareholders will be excited. It's true. No fake news. Okay. Okay. Navigate back to the home page. We'll see if that. So we found some information that shouldn't have been disclosed about some potential acquisitions and mergers. So same type of thing as far as just having open documents on websites that shouldn't be there, or even goes back to some of the other rooms that we were doing with the advent of cyber, where we were looking at S3 buckets. So like with AWS and just having data out there. It's actually kind of interesting, the amount of stuff that you can find from different organizations and companies. Also going back to another video, the Google dorking video that we did, where we kind of showed how to look for different types of documents. So .pdfs or you know, whatever, spreadsheets, .xls's. And you can use Google to search based off of the domain. So if you know the company that you're interested in, you could do that and then search for specific document types. It's kind of dicey sometimes, some stuff that people aren't aware that they're just leaving out there and searchable. And Google is just able to crawl all of it, and there you go. You can get into some trouble there. All right, so let's submit that. Cool. Log into MC Safe Search's account. After watching the video, there are certain parts of the song that stand out. He notes that his password is Mr. Noodles, but he has replaced some vowels into zeros. I don't know. Are we really going to watch this? No, I think you can watch that on your own. Well, we don't need to go down another YouTube rabbit hole. But so meaning that he's replaced the O's into zeros. So those would be zeros. We know that the password to MC Safe Search's Juice Shop is okay. So again, this is kind of hinting at what, people putting information out on the internet, maybe even talking about passwords that they like to use, but we already know what his email address is here, because I believe that we saw a comment that was left on the website. So okay, so let's do this. We'll try logging in. All right, and we can get rid of that. Count. So what you're kind of seeing here is that some of this stuff is a little bit more on the technical side, right? So like the different types of injection and things like that. And then some of this is really more about configuration hygiene and being aware of the data that you're putting out there and how that can kind of come back to bite you in the butt. So we're going to go Mr. Noodles. That's going to be the password. Why not? There we go. Another flag. Get rid of that. All right. Move that over. Keep it moving. Cool. Okay, download the backup file. We will now go back to the FTP folder and try to download the package.json.back. But it seems that we were met with a 403 which says that only the .md and the PDF files can be downloaded. To get around this, we will use a character bypass called poison null byte. A poison null byte looks like this. So percentage and 00. Note, as we download it using the URL, we'll need to encode it. Need to encode this into a URL encoded format. The URL, the poison null byte, will now look like this. 2500, okay. Adding this and the .md to the end will bypass the 403 error. Okay, so let's go give that a try. I'm going to go back here, get rid of this. We should be able to go back to FTP. Let's backup.json, and we get that error, like they said. So we were going to go that, and I think it was for this poison null byte.md, I think is what they said. We'll see if that works. There we go. So that's getting around some type of extension filtering, I think. Okay. And then we have a JSON backup of a whole bunch of stuff on the website, which probably has some other, I mean, we're able to get usernames out of that. Is that what it is? No, those are contributors. I'm sure that there's something else in here that could be of benefit. So let's go back to the main page. I'm sure that was going to pop up another flag for us. Yep, forgotten developer backup. We'll take it. And then go take a look and see what it says of why that did what it did. But I think that's what it was as far as just getting around some extension filtering. Okay. A poison null byte is actually a null terminator. By placing a null character in the string at a certain byte, the string will tell the server to terminate at that point, nulling the rest of the string. Interesting. Okay. All right, let's move on. Who's flying this thing? Let's see. I'll throw throw that overlay back up there for the time being. All right. Let's see. Modern day systems will allow for multiple users to have access to different pages. Administrators most commonly use the administrator page to edit, add, and remove different elements of a website. You might use these when you're building a website with programs such as Weebly or Wix. When broken access control exploits or bugs are found, it will be categorized into one of two types. Horizontal privilege escalation. So that's when a user can perform actions or access data of another user at the same level of permissions. Or vertical privilege escalation. That's when a user can perform actions or access data of another user with higher level of permissions. That seems like that could be a little dangerous. Okay. Access the administrator's page first. We're going to open the debugger on Firefox. This can be done by navigating to it in the web developers menu. And then we're going to refresh the page and look for a JavaScript file named main es215.js. We will then go to that page. Okay, so let's do that. So web developer and then debugger. Let's get rid of that. Debugger. And we have that down here, this main es.15. So we're going to go there. I think they want us to actually then go to that page. Okay. Let's do that. Paste. And we're getting a whole bunch of that, which doesn't look like it's going to help us. To get this into a format we can read, we click the... Oh, of course, it looks like they're doing it through the debugger, so we could do that too, versus doing it that way. And that might actually make it a little bit easier to see. Let's see. Okay. Let's see if we can actually move this up. There we go. Okay. So we were going to go here. And then we were going to hit that. I think. Style editor. Yeah, that looks right. Now search for the term admin. We'll come across across a couple of different words containing admin, but the one we are looking for is path administration. Is there a... I'm looking to see if there is a way to... Yeah, there we go, find admin. That does not seem like that is helping out. Let's see if they were showing... Try to see where that is. Now. try that again. Debugger. Was it runtime or main? I think it was main. Yeah, okay. And then we did that. I just don't see where there is a I'm just not seeing where to do a search on that. Oh, down here. Oh, okay, there we go. My bad. I kept hitting style editor instead of hitting. I'll show you. Down at the bottom here, there was, let's get out of this. Get out of this. So if you go down to the bottom here, again, I'm not sure you're able to see it. All the way down at the bottom, there's two little, see where my arrow is? There's a little thing that's an I, there's a little thing that's a brackets. You're going to click on the brackets, and that's going to pop this open like that. And then let's see where the find is here. There should be a little, and go. No, that's not it. There should be a little thing also for being able to search within here. To generate a location, clip to no. I just don't know where it is. Watch expressions. There's got to be a search function within this, and I just don't know. I just don't know where it is. Well, if we had the time, we could go all the way through that, but since they already show where it is, then we'll just scroll down to where it actually is. That's going to be 16,580. And here we go. Right there. Administration. It's under XS. Okay. So this hints towards a page called administration. So # administration, as can be seen by the about path a couple lines below that. Okay. But going there while not logged in doesn't work. As this is an administrative page, it makes sense that we need to have to be in the admin account in order to do this. A good way to stop users from accessing this is to only load there's only little parts of the application that need to be used by them. This stops sensitive information from the admin page being leaked. So we're going to go and access the admin page. Let's go back, get rid of that, account, log out. Remember this was admin at juice, and it was admin 123 if I remember correctly. Admin 123. This is why it's always good to keep notes when you're moving through any of this type of stuff. We can go back to it later on, and then we can just go administration up here in the bar. Administration. And there we go. We got it. Okay. Moving on to the next. Log into the admin account and click your basket. Make sure Burp is running so you can capture the request. We actually already did capture this before, but forward each request you get until we see get rest basket 1 HTTP. Now we're going to change the number 1 after basket to 2. Okay. It will now show you the basket of user ID 2. Okay. Yep. So this is kind of like some stuff dealing with being able to access different types of sessions, maybe. So let's see. We are already logged in with the admin account. We can get here. Now, let's go turn this on, or go back to Burp. And we wanted to, before we click on my basket, we're going to make sure Burp is up and running. There we go. Get rid of that. Get rid of Intruder. Okay. Intercept is on. We're going to forward all. We're going to get rid of all that. Okay. Now, let's go back to this. Go to our basket. Now we should be able to go. Okay. So this is right here is what it looks like we were looking for. So we're going to take that. Until we see this. And we're going to send it to intercept. And we're going to change it. Oh, I'm sorry, we're already in intercept. Sorry about that. I was thinking about Intruder for a second. So we should be able to change it like that. And then we're going to forward it. Now when we go back to here, we're actually able to see the basket for somebody else. Remember, that wasn't there before. So, yep, we're able to see another user's basket. Cool. So, and like I said, we could go through and change that. Look at other users as well. Uh-oh. Does help when I actually copy that over correctly. Let's do that. There we go. Remove all 5-star reviews. Navigate to the administration page again and click the bin icon next to the review for 5 stars. Ooh. So again, so this is just kind of showing once you were able to get that the vertical exploitation, right? We're able to get into the admin page. Then you can kind of go and access other types of information that you wouldn't normally be able to. Administration, customer feedback. Let me get rid of this. Let's see. Oh, because I still have burp on. Let's turn that off and try that again. No? There we go. Okay, just took a second to load once I turned it off. So we can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. Is it all 4 stars or 5-star reviews? Those were the only 4-star review or only 5-star reviews I saw. Let's go back home. Maybe we'll get rid of the 4-star reviews too, because that should have popped up something. Let's see. There we go. So those were 4-star reviews, but they wanted us to get rid of them anyway. So just be aware of that as you're going through there. Just get rid of all good reviews. That probably will work all right. All right, moving on to the next one. I think we only got 2 more tasks left. Okay, where did that come from? So we got some order history here. So cross-site scripting is a vulnerability that allows attackers to run JavaScript in web applications. These are one of the most found bugs in web applications. Their complexity ranges from easy to extremely hard, as these web applications parse the queries in different ways. There's 3 major types of cross-site scripting attacks. A very good breakdown of this. Again, I think we covered that with the advent of cyber. We went into the differences between these. So definitely go check that out. I did the rooms for that. So if you need a little bit of help, go do that. So we got the DOM cross-site scripting. So document object model-based cross-site scripting uses the HTML environment to execute malicious JavaScript. This type of attack commonly uses the script HTML tag. Then persistent is a JavaScript that is run when the server loads the page containing it. These can occur when the server does not sanitize the user data when it's uploaded onto a web page. So maybe like a comment or something like that. These are commonly found on blog posts. Oh, there we go, commonly found blog posts. Reflected is a JavaScript that is run on the client side end of the web application. These are most commonly found when the server doesn't sanitize search data. Okay, so let's see what we got. We will be using the iframe element with a JavaScript alert tag. Inputting this in the search bar will trigger the alert. Note that we are using iframe, which is a common HTML element found in many web applications. There are others which also produce the same result. This type of cross-site scripting is also called cross-frame scripting and is one of the more common forms of detecting cross-site scripting within applications. Websites that allow the user to modify the iframe or other DOM elements will most likely be vulnerable to cross-site scripting. So we're just going to take this and we're going to drop that into the search bar. Let's see, we'll get rid of this. Oh, so it was able to run that code, that JavaScript, and do that using the iframes. So obviously that wasn't anything malicious, but it definitely could be malicious. And we have the ability to run that because of the way that that is coded. So let's go see what they say. Closing that out. So why does this work? It's common practice that the search bar will send a request to the server in which then send back the related information. But this is where the flaw lies. Without correct input sanitization, we are able to input the malicious code, in this case using a using iframe, using the iframe element with the JavaScript alert in there. We're able to perform the cross-site scripting attack against the search bar. So if they had some type of input sanitization that was looking for certain types of characters or certain types of tags or things like that and blocking that, then they would be protecting themselves. All right, so let's do a persistent one. First, log into the admin account, already there. We're going to navigate to the last login IP page for this attack. Okay. It should say the last login IP address is either all zeros or 10.x something. As it logs the last IP, we will now log out so that it logs a new IP address. Got to make sure that intercept is on at this point. Okay. We will then head over to the headers tab where we will add a new header. It's going to be iframe. We're going to end up putting the same thing into what should be the IP address section. But if they aren't doing the sanitization on that, then yeah, we could end up with kind of the same type of thing. So let's go and do that. Last login, so that's under privacy security. Let's take a look. I'll get rid of that. Account, privacy security, last login. Okay, it's a 10 address. Yep. So let's go turn on, go make sure that I don't have anything. We'll just forward all this. There we go. That's clear. We'll go back. We will open up the browser, turn on Foxy Proxy, turn it on to Burp, and log out. Which it should then send the IP address. Right. Okay. So then we can go back to Burp. And what are we looking for here? And for headers, I don't know if that is. If this is actually the one that we're interested in. What is that? Under headers tab. I don't see where there is a headers tab. No. Inspector. Yeah, I don't know that I'm seeing that. Where's that? Let me Let me do a little research on that so I make sure that we have the right spot here. All right, so poking around a little bit with this, realized that the headers section actually used to be right up here. And in the latest version of Burp, they actually got rid of it. So I think most of the stuff that you're going to find won't actually cover this correctly. But to be able to actually mess with the headers, they have this new tool over here on the right-hand side called Inspector. And if we pop this open, then we actually can go and see a whole bunch of different parameters, including the request header, which is where we're going to add the one that they wanted us to, which is going to be true client IP. And then the value is going to be that iframe JavaScript alert. Okay, and we're going to put that over here. Let's see if that works. Does not want me to be able to copy and paste that in there. Oh, that sucks. Okay. That's fine. So we're going to go iframe space src equals quotes JavaScript :alert parentheses apostrophe XSS apostrophe parentheses quotes greater than. Okay. Whew. Now we're going to forward that. And let's see if that did what we wanted it to do. Oh no. So then when we sign back into the account and navigate to the last login page, we should be able to see that. Okay, so let's log back in. We'll get rid of proxy, login, admin at juice p admin 123. Don't save. Go into accounts, privacy, security, last login IP. Bam, there we go. Very good. Go back there. But that should have given us a flag, and it didn't. So I wonder if that is one of those things where they were talking about needing to refresh or clear the cache on this. But we saw that it did what it was supposed to do. And so I'm not going to go and troubleshoot that too much. We can just go and Google what the key is or what the flag is supposed to be on that. And just keep moving on. That way you don't have to spend too much time troubleshooting that, but probably something with some cookies or some type of cache thing. But we did see that the JavaScript did end up executing. So that's the important part. Okay. Let me see, and I was able to copy that. So we'll just go ahead and throw that up there. Okay. And perform a reflected cross-site script. So first we're going to need to be on the right page to perform the reflected cross-site script. So log in the admin account and navigate to the order history page. Okay, so that's orders, payments, order history. From there, you will see a truck icon that will bring you to the track result page. You'll also see that there is an ID paired with an order. Okay, use iframe here again in place of the order ID. Seems pretty straightforward. So let's go and see that. Get rid of that. Account, orders, payments, order history. So order history? Yes. From there, you'll see a truck icon. I see no truck icon. We in the right account? We are in the admin account. Let's try logging out, logging back in. Let's get out of here. We'll go back to the main page. I don't know why that's acting a little. Okay. Account, login, admin at juice op. Let's go admin 123. Let's see. Let me restart this because it's starting to act a little funky. So let me restart this attack box real quick. I'm just going to pause this and then we'll hop right back on. All right, so picking back up. So what I ended up doing was shutting down the box, restarting it. So was kind of getting some funky stuff right at the last few minutes there. So I assume like maybe the timer on the server was like had run out. So like you got to remember that whenever you're going through these rooms, you only have like 2 hours, I think. So the attack box that I had was spun up after this particular server that's running this was spun up. So I think maybe it timed out or started to go that way, and maybe that's why I wasn't able to get the flag and we weren't seeing the data that we needed to see. But back up. Now we should be able to go under account, logged in with the admin account. We go to orders and payments and order history. And now, here we go. Now we see a whole bunch of stuff. So this is the different orders that they were talking about. We can click on, let's see which one they wanted us to click on, but we're going to click on the little thing related to the truck. We're going to look at, was it 353 was the one? Yeah, I think it just got different orders. That's all right. So we can go click on the truck. So we can then go and take the iframe again and put it in place of the order number here. Let's see, copy. So under result ID. So really we are putting this here, and because of the fact of how it's not doing any input validation on what it's going back to look in the database, then looks like we should be able to go like that. See if we did that right. Refresh the page. And there we go. Got it again. All right. I'm going to take that. And put that there. So the server will have a lookup table or database, depending on the type of server, for each tracking ID. As the ID parameter is not sanitized, like I was saying, before it's sent to the server, we're able to perform the cross-site scripting attack. Bam. So what else do we have here? So exploration. If you wish to tackle some of the harder challenges that were not covered in this room, check out the scoreboard webpage. Here you can see other tasks of varying difficulty. So if we just go, take a look at that. Oh, it does help when what's it, scoreboard. There we go. We'll take this. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of different things that you could continue to go through and try and figure out if you wanted to. Show solved. So we did a few of these. Show tutorials. So just some different things that you can go through and try out if you want to. So pretty cool. Let's move that over. Let's see, show all. And I'll copy this. All right. So that is it. We knocked out another room. Hopefully this one was good. I mean, we covered a lot of different stuff. Some things that we've kind of covered at different points, but to kind of go through and see all of the different methods that we could look at and the different things that we covered. So talking about injection, broken authentication, sensitive data exposure, broken access controls, and cross-site scripting. Pretty good room to cover all that stuff. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know. Drop some comments down below on some other rooms that you want me to walk through on TryHackMe. Appreciate everybody who hung around to the end to check this out. Go get at it. We'll talk soon. And yeah, have a great week. All right. Bye.